Good morning and thank you again for visiting us. Today I want to share a few thoughts of mine on the young child or the growing mind. One of the peculiar and the curious things about being a child is born curious. If you give a birthday gift to a small boy of 5, it's an automated car with remote control. You are the gifter, and before you leave the house after wishing happy birthday, you'll find the car is already broken, it's removed, parts are gone. The mother and the father of the child are very upset that the child does not know the value of how much you have spent for that remote controlled car. But the child does not know what the complaint is about, because for it, the more important thing is not whether the car looks good, but why does it move when I press this button? This is the essential curiosity of a child, and by the time we become adult, we find we take the car, let the child play with it for 5 minutes and put it in our mantelpiece. It becomes a showpiece. The childish curiosity we lose along the way. Till the age of 10, lot of children in Mangalore I know are Boy Scouts and Girl Guides. Curious. They will be with children in camp, scout, they'll go for tent making, gadget making. But in adult, nobody remains a scout. What has happened to this childhood curiosity and dreams which you had at the age of 12 when you wanted to get a first class scout, when you want to get an extra badge for your scout uniform? Why suddenly such a noble concept at the age of 12 it has died and no adult is any more interested in scouting? It is because scouting is based on chasing the curious. And in adult, we are not curious. We take things for granted. If you remain an adult who is as curious as a child, progress will be made. You will be able to be a better educator. When a small child, which was being taught the solar system in school in 2nd or 3rd standard, the teacher, I remember, explained the sun and the various planets and said how the planets move around the sun. The child could understand the concept because it is drawn on the board and various color chalks were shown to show the movement of the planets. What the child comes back to ask me, when I say me, it does not necessarily mean my child, any child. Now this concept of the sun and the planets around the sun, it is shown like this on the board, like a plate. How will it look when it's looked from the side? Who gave the teacher permission to see it from the top? How does she know it looks like that? It can look like that only from above or below. But in the solar system, we are not above or below, we are somewhere. Actually, the plate must be sideways, the sun and then the planets. Why didn't the teacher draw a diagram to show the solar system sideways? That's because we have taken for granted that it's easier to understand if you look from above or from below, not from the side. I remember the child sitting next to the driver in a car. After the trip was over, when the child comes back home, I saw the child sitting on the dining table, taking the plate and driving a car with the plate. That's the steering wheel. Peculiarly, the steering wheel was not held like this, but like this. So the car was being driven with the wheel this way. For me, it was amazing curiosity. Why is it the child is holding the steering wheel like this instead of like this? What struck me is, from the position the child was in the car, seeing the driver drive the car, the concept of the steering wheel is only sideways. It is not sitting behind the steering wheel, but sitting at the side. So it thinks the driver also has the steering wheel to the side. The mind of the child is different from the mind of the adult. You go to an exhibition where parents are bringing the child to various parts of the exhibition, any public exhibition, and the child says, Papa, look at that, something has caught its eye. Child is walking with the father and says, Father, see that, that's something interesting. And immediately the father will lift the child, carry it here, what is it, show me. The child is not able to see it anymore. It can only see it from that point of view. That means from below it is able to see something, from this eye level it's not able to see it. Then it goes back, Papa, leave there, I can see it. I have known 99% of the fathers will say the child is imagining things. 1 in 100 will bend down to the level of the child. Then the father is able to see. This is called the point of view. The child's point of view of everything in the world is different from what an adult point of view. When we adults are teachers, we must learn to think like a child if you want to be a good educator. Today's education is not how much you give to the child, how much you make the child want to learn. If you go to the pharaonic days, the days of the Egyptian kings, pharaohs, you will find their numerical, Roman, Arabic numericals were written differently. 2 was written in the form of Z. This is 2. The word 3 is written in the form of a sigma or sideways M. It's like M lying on the side. Look at the number again. 2 angles. The 2 corners means 2. 3 corners means 3. 1. No corners. The whole thing is 1. 0. No corners. So the child has to say 2 plus 2. It has to draw a diagram to show 4 corners. Because 2 corners, it counts in the Z, plus 2 corners in another Z, it has to draw a diagram with 4 corners. The Egyptian child could put 4 corners and say this is 4. It is not like 2 2s are 4, 2 4s are 8, like we are saying 2 9s are 18, 2 10s are 20. That is how we teach our children. The pharaohs built the pyramids based on astronomical calculations because their mathematics was not taught like this, but is taught on the basis of picture diagrams, hieroglyphics. If you can introduce pictures, thought processes, different parts of brain to their learning exposure, the child will learn faster and better. Today we don't do it. We just lecture for 1 hour and then move out of the class. How many of us want the experimental approach or the hands-on approach to anything? The childish curiosity is killed at teenage life. Today, if our college children suffer from lack of originality in thinking or innovative approach to life, it is because along the way our education system has driven into them, do not be original, do not be curious, just learn what is being taught. You go to school to be taught, you come to college to learn. If we can also remember this difference, that when you come to college, you come to learn. When you go to school, you go to be taught. An educator should constantly attempt to make the child learn, not be taught. If this difference is understood, not only will you have a very, very happy lot of children, but we will also have a very happy lot of teachers. And tomorrow's India may be far brighter because we have thousands of young minds which are curious, which want to find out, which want to discover, which want to innovate, which uses ingenuity of the common mind to produce something which is not there anywhere else in the world. Thank you very much.